What is up, guys, and welcome to Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I'm your host, the bald, the beard, the beautiful Piers Austin. And guys, tonight I've got a great guest for you guys I'm going to bring out very shortly. It is Corndog. He is from South Australia, and he's making his way all over Australia, making a name for himself on the Australian scene. I'm going to bring him out shortly, and we're going to get into a great conversation. But guys, just want to give a special shout out. You can catch all of the MWA podcast shows now. Get an exclusive first look at all of our shows by going to the Realm Network and subscribing. That is the Vince Russo now owned Realm Network. Go there. You get an exclusive first look at all of our shows. So make sure you go and check that out. But guys, let's get into some sponsors before we get this show started. I just want to take a quick second to thank the Wrestling Universe. Now, the Wrestling Universe is your one-stop shop for all your pro wrestling merchandise. Guys, they've got all kinds of WWE, TNA, UFC, WCW, ECW, action figures, past, present. They carry t-shirts, wrestling cards, autographed 8x10s, masks, belts, and much, much, much more. Guys, they also have in-store signings. So if you live in Queens, New York, you can go and meet some of the biggest names in the wrestling world. Guys, go and check it out. All autographed items come with a certificate of authenticity. Now, guys, if you're like me, you live in another country, another side of the world, if you will. They also ship internationally. So the Wrestling Universe, guys, has got you covered, baby. Next up is healthvape.com. Now, HealthVape offer a healthy vaping alternative, guys. All products are no nicotine, no harmful or addictive chemicals, and they are vitamin infused. Go and check out some of their vape and pod products. Use promo code MWA pod to get a 10% discount on checkout. Next is sleeps.com. Now, guys, if you or anybody you know is an athlete, you need to head over and check out sleeps.com. They offer all kinds of athletic wear. Guys, they've got arm sleeves, knee sleeves, headbands, tights, joggers, socks, even dirty boxers. And guys, I've got to tell you, these dirty boxers are the most comfortable boxers that I own. Seriously, they're the most relaxed. Breathing well, if that's what you want to call. I don't know. They keep me comfortable. They keep me fresh. And also some of them have got a big elephant trunk on the front of them. So that's pretty ironic and funny as well. So make sure you check out sleeps.com. Use promo code MWA pod to get a 10% discount on final purchase. Now, guys, all of our shows on the MWA Podcast Network are going to be exclusive to the Realm Network. They get an exclusive first look at all of our 4 shows. That is Knights of the Gimmick Table with the Dead Presidents, Boogaloo and Lowrider. An amazing show. These guys are wrestling tag team legends from the Northeast independent scene in the United States and one of the most respected tag teams in the indies to this day. Guys, also you need to check out Get Funked, hosted by former WCW and TNA star Alan Kwee Funk. Now, Alan is bringing on a lot of great guests, a lot of guys that he trained and girls that he trained with in the power plant, also spent time with in TNA and WCW. They have amazing conversations. They're telling stories. They're reminiscing about the old days. So if you're a really diehard wrestling fan and you love that old school WCW stuff, then you really want to check out the Get Funked podcast every single week with Alan Kwee Funk and all of his amazing guests. And guys, if you want to make sure you stay on top of everything that's happening in the wrestling world, and you want to hear it getting broken down by professional wrestlers and guys that have got a very, very good opinion on what is good and what is not so good, you need to check out Killing the Business with former ECW original, the Kingpin, Angel Medina. He is one guy that you can't stop what he's going to say. Like, he's just uncensored. He just opens his mouth and just says whatever comes in. It's really hard to restrain him at times, but that's why we love him. But he's also joined on that panel by Glenn Sexton and also King Mega, the indie wrestling legend. So, guys, make sure you check out those amazing shows. And also this show, Shooting the Shit Uncensored with Piers Austin, where I'm talking to people from around the world involved in professional wrestling. Like my guest right now, he is South Australia's own Corndog. What's up, brother? Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. Very keen, very excited. Let's get to it.
So am I, man. We've been like kind of talking about this like for a couple of months now, really, because it's like Tommy Knight I interviewed and your housemates with him. And then we sort of had a bit of a chat after that interview. And then Lily Blaze, I interviewed her. And then I found out you were also housemates with her. And we had a chat after that as well. So it's great to finally have you on the show, man.
Yeah, complete the trio of this household. So
there's no other housemate there in the business that
no, just my dog here. So nah.
Man, getting into it, man, like when did you like break into professional wrestling? Because I'm still kind of learning about the South Australian scene. Like, you know what I mean? I know I'm based in Sydney, so like the New South Wales bubble, I'm pretty well on. I'm getting there with Melbourne. South Australia, I'm starting to dip in. But when did you start getting involved in the world, man?
So it was about pretty close on 5 years ago I started training. So, you know, about a year and a half of training before I got to debut on shows. And I wrestled for about year and a half as Tyler Trench, a different character, before I changed to Corndog, and sort of taken off a bit more from there. Yeah,
right. And like, were you always a fan of like wrestling growing up? Or like, was that always something that was like, I'm going to do this one day?
Yeah, I always loved it. You know, but never did it until you did. But growing up, always big fan of sports. And you know, in my early 20s, I got pretty fit and was playing sports and went to a WWE show when they came to Adelaide, and I, you know, saw it up close for the first time at that high level, and I was like, oh, I could do this. I definitely could do this. And
were you regularly watching the product though?
I was at the time, just never been to a live show before that time. So seeing it up close, I was like, oh, I think I could do this.
Yeah. And then where did you go from there? Like,
well, I contacted a few different places around Adelaide. There's, you know, different schools here, and went to Wrestle Rampage first. They had the first tryout coming up from when I looked around. So I just sort of happenstance, I guess. And got in and after the tryout and loved every minute of it.
Because like Wrestle Rampage has really produced a lot of great talent. Like in Australia,
it's a special place. It's a special place.
It's stacked. Like, who are the coaches there?
At the moment, the head coach is Punch Drunk Istria, as well as probably some of the most unknown, underrated wrestlers in the country, being the Grahams, Greg Graham, Joey Graham, Wrecking Ball. Yeah, those guys are born and bred Wrestle Rampage, and just most of them never really got the chance to go, you know, get their name out there as much as they should have.
Yeah, right. So these guys are older guys, I assume. I know Punch Drunk History. I've seen him a fair bit on some shows, and he's probably one of the best in the country. Like, no question. Like he's definitely one of the top guys in the country. But the other guys, are they much older?
Yeah, they're probably 10 plus years in the business. Wrecking Ball, Balls. He's been to Japan for 0-1 a couple of times, but the other guys haven't really. You know, it was never really a want, as far as I'm aware, to get out there. But you know, as good as anyone else in the country.
Yeah.
But that's who's there now. And obviously, when I first started, it was a bit different. There was, Jag, Harley Jackson, Jonah Rock, Damian Slater. They were all there when I first joined. Obviously, have moved on where they are now. So.
Oh, absolutely. You mentioned Jonah Rock, who
Yeah.
was most recently known as Bronson Reed over in NXT and had a very solid run there, and is probably one of the most phenomenal big men in current wrestling today.
Yeah, like taught me so much. Just as a bigger guy, just to how to carry yourself and be bigger than other people. Like I am bigger than most people, so I got to be that. It's more than just being tall and being big. It's how you carry yourself as well, and he taught me a lot about that.
Yeah, and I suppose that's it's a difference as well. Like I think in wrestling today, like you see a lot of people with a smaller stature, smaller height frames involved in pro wrestling. And it's almost like the big man is, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? The big man is almost like now that's like the spectacle sight, you know what I mean? Like almost like Andre the Giant back in the day, and everyone else is like 6'4", 6'5". But I think it's important for like people that are that size and being big guys to know how to work as big guys and carry themselves like that in the ring, because it's a big difference when you see big guys doing stuff they shouldn't be and taking that out of the element.
Yeah, it's I'm not going to say anyone can do whatever they want, but it's the way I enjoyed wrestling, the way I was taught wrestling is a lot of working about size, and there are times and places to do things outside of size, but it's good. It's good to be a big guy and work that style. And it's good to work with other big guys. A lot of the guys from Rampage are big, so
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Big guys hit hard as well, so it's like I can imagine it's like what you put out is what you're getting back in. I'm sure, but as far as like you said that you started out with a different character before you eventuated to Corndog, and I want to get into the Corndog character, but once you sort of broke in and you started getting things together, like training, okay, now I'm getting ready for shows, so you got to start thinking gimmick and persona. Was that something that was on the forefront of your mind at the beginning of like what sort of character that you wanted to be?
Not really. I mean, I sort of had a couple of loose ideas, but I always thought, once I get to that point, I'll sort of develop my own style in training and what I like doing. And, I always felt like it would just come naturally as a character would build from there. Mm-hmm. And originally it sort of did. And then Corndog sort of developed on the side and just sort of became its own thing. Yeah.
And so like I'm assuming Corndog started like as a nickname, did it? Or was it like
it was the story's not very interesting how it started. It was just sort of a dumb joke I said once, and it sort of stuck as a joke name. And every now and then I would do something different or to what I would normally do at training and call myself Corndog and do it, and everyone thought it was great and hilarious or whatever, and I just had a lot of fun doing it. So it's eventually just thought I enjoy doing what I'm doing as Corndog at training more than what I'm doing as Tyler Trench on shows. So eventually made the switch over.
Yeah, and like obviously at the sound of it, it's like it's a little bit comedy based as well, the role, because like I've seen a
little bit more gimmicky than comedy. The way I explain it, I wouldn't like to call myself a comedy wrestler. It's I like to be entertaining, but I like to wrestle. I like to hit hard and slam people. It's
but I don't necessarily think like a comedy wrestler can't be taken serious as an aggressive wrestler. I mean, like if you look at something like Kurt Angle back in the beginning 2000s, he was doing a lot of silly comedy, but also was perceived as a killer in the ring.
Yeah. There's that fine line that I really enjoy there. Kurt Angle's probably one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and I really enjoyed what he did, how he was able to still be a credible threat in the ring, regardless of what his character was, how much it changed over the years.
Yeah, exactly. But, the character itself, like, what is the main premise? Like, what is your objective when you go out as Corndog? Like, what do you want to be perceived as?
I just want to be perceived as a guy that's out there to have a good time. Like I go out there and I'm just being me. I'm being happy. I'm I'm there to give some sauce and have a good time and try and win.
That's it. And what's the deal with the sauce? Because I see like that's part of the gimmick as well. So
yeah, it just sort of came. Obviously corn dogs. They'd get dipped in sauce, and it's it just sort of became a thing, and it's a lot of the gimmick. I do the sauce punches. It's sort of a over dramatized version of the Dusty Rhodes punches. Every time I hit it in the crowd chants for sauce.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's really good. Like every time I get in the ring, the whole crowd they want to chant for the sauce, and it's it's just really fun. Everyone loves it.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like a really fun character to have the crowd going and getting him involved. Yeah. Have you ever tried to flirt with the idea of doing the character as a heel, or have you ever tried to work the character as a heel?
Here and there, but I feel like I would just probably do. It's just the way I would put things together, I guess. Like I would probably just do what I do, just less of a trying to have fun with it, more of a just doing it for me, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that, even then, like there's little elements that you can change that doesn't necessarily mean you'd have to change the character completely,
exactly,
whether you prefer me as a face and a heel. And I think that that's probably the best thing about like a good character is the ability to switch between the two just by changing little small elements or directing behavior differently or, aggression differently, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, before I was Corndog, I debuted as a heel as Tyler Trench, and it just sort of, organically became face. So it was great to experience both sides without having to like change anything about what I was doing. It just sort of organically happened.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things when you can have that organic turn, it's sort of like endearing to the audience almost. It's like they're sort of saying like, nah, man, we think you're a cool dude. We don't want to fucking do you. Like,
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. And I suppose that in itself is like, that's like one of those things that you cannot really, in wrestling, I'd say it'd be hard to pull off, especially when you're trying to act like a heel. And
like, I was big monster heel. I would, I had a red mohawk and I would lick people, and it was, it's completely different to what I do now. And I don't know, for whatever reason, people just really got behind it.
Oh man, it's crazy. But like, have you ever thought about like with the current character now? Like, have you ever thought if you would ever sort of go to something completely different? Like, would you ever contemplate changing it, or do you think that your character now is what you enjoy most about?
I feel like what I'm doing now as Corndog is a really good representation of myself in wrestling, and obviously, it's going to evolve over time as everything does. But I feel like it works for me. It fits who I am as a person and the style I like to work as well.
Yeah. And, with Adelaide, with the promotions over there, like, does it keep you guys busy over there? Because I know Adelaide is a lot of, is a small place essentially. But you guys have got like several different promotions down there. Do each promotion run monthly for you guys?
Well, there is. I know it's different in the other states. A lot of the companies don't really work together as much as we sort of Wrestle Rampage does Wrestle Rampage, and the companies do other things. So it's we do shows every we try to, obviously COVID's made things hard, but we try to do shows every month or two here for Wrestle Rampage.
Yeah. Do you work anywhere else in Adelaide besides Wrestle Rampage, or do you stick to Wrestle Rampage?
No, just stick to Wrestle Rampage mostly, yeah.
Yeah, right. And is that like what you find, like as you were saying, just within Adelaide, everyone sticks to their own promotion? Like there's not much crossover there?
Yeah, they're just, I mean, like I would love to work well in companies. It's just not really, people don't really do it so much. So it's, I don't know, it's sort of I'm not really sure.
Yeah, no, look, it's one of those things, man. It's unfortunate because I think companies sort of, well, the talent sort of getting opportunity to go on other companies and work for other companies in their area can only make the performers better. But I can understand why promoters would want to sticking to their own shows though.
Yeah.
Like I can completely get it because that's the whole, almost the premise of like what pro wrestling, like the old style of pro wrestling is. It's like, well, you come to our show to see this performer.
Yeah. Sort of like the territories and I guess.
So, but man, you've got in a couple of weeks, on August 21st, you're wrestling a triple threat tag team match. You and Lily Blaze versus Bobby Bishop, Lucille Brawl, and Misspent Youth, Aisha and Murdoch. And I said this before we started recording, and I said this before when I was speaking to Aisha and Murdoch the other day. I think this match is going to steal the show. Hands down.
I mean, every time I get in the ring, that's my goal is to steal the show. That's always in the back of my head, always something I'm trying to do. I mean, I've never been in a triple threat tag team match before. This will be a first for me, but it's exciting. There's such a vast, such a variety of wrestlers in this match. Like, how could it be anything but exciting, really?
Yeah. And that's the thing. I find like those multi-man or multi-person matches, I should say, sorry, that there's always a level of extra excitement added to them, like an extra level of craziness. And most wrestlers you speak to think that many people in the ring, it's going to be a clusterfuck. But
I mean, it can easily go one way or the other. It's a lot of controlled chaos in those sort of situations.
Oh, 100%. But you look at the talent that is going to be in the ring that night, and it's like, I have no doubt it's not going to be anything nasty. It's going to be an absolute masterpiece of a match. I'm really looking forward to watching it, and fingers crossed COVID stays the fuck out. And
yeah, well, it's coming up soon. So as long as the states stay open and we can go over and come back safely, then yeah, I've been looking forward to this. Obviously the match was already booked with just Lily Blaze and I against Misspent Youth, and that show got cancelled with the Melbourne lockdown.
Yeah.
So hopefully that doesn't happen again, and we can finally come over.
Yeah, because this is your first time wrestling for DMDU, correct?
Yeah, this will be my first time.
So Deathmatch Down Under. When I had Tommy Knight on, he was telling me that in Adelaide you're kind of now the deathmatch guy. Like that's something that you've sort of, the staple or flag that you're starting to bear. Like, is deathmatch wrestling something that you are starting to really get into?
I mean, it wasn't ever really I don't really watch a lot of deathmatch wrestling. It's never been a big thing that I'm into. I've just, happened to do a few and just do it really well, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. It just, I mean, it's never been a goal. It's never really particularly been something like, I love deathmatch wrestling. I want to be, I really want to zone into this. It's just, I don't know. I'm just good at it. I don't know how, I've just sort of happened on it a few times, and it's just suited my style really well.
Do you think that it's something that you would want to pursue further? Like if, a DMDU gave you an opportunity to be involved in a death match, would that be something that you would want to go involved with?
Yeah, it's not something I would want to turn down, really. It's, I'm not against it at all. It's, I'd love to. It's a great opportunity. It's a style of wrestling that I enjoy. Yeah.
And one thing, obviously, you said that you've done it and people have enjoyed the work that you've done there and done it well. What do you think the main difference is of doing deathmatch wrestling well is, and compared to what the do nots of deathmatch wrestling, so to speak? Like, what makes a good deathmatch and what makes a bad deathmatch in your opinion?
Well, for me, it's all wrestling. Like it's just I try not to think of it too much as a death match, and it's just a wrestling match with this stipulation. Like it's, same with tag team wrestling. It's, it's a wrestling match with this going on in it. Like it's, it's just really, I approach it the same way I approach any other match. I just take that emphasis to, we're going to be, this is what else is going on in the match. This is other things we can do that we can't do in a normal match. And it's, it really just depends on what you want to do match to match. Like I've probably done, 5 or 6 now, and you know, I try not to kill myself straight away, you know, straight away in the match. So try and, you know, start slow and build it up, you know.
Yeah. And do you think that that's the main importance of it, is like starting out slow with that stuff and then building up to it, where like obviously in some death matches that have been done over the years, it's like guys go straight in and diving into barbed wire or straight into light tubes without building to the bigger spots?
Yeah, I mean, there's, you know, it's all a bit of a gray area. You know, you can't say yes or no for any, you know, with storyline, whatever's going on. Like, things can work, anything can work, really. It's just, you know, fitting to what you've got going on leading into that particular match, I think.
Oh, absolutely. But, you know, I think, you know, that obviously with the deathmatch genre rising, and I think it's probably at its peak right now as to where it's been the last few years. I think that the last couple of years is really sort of, you know, peak deathmatch wrestling, and it's seen a lot of, you know, wrestlers get involved and try their hand at it, and you know, it's made some great entertainment for it as well. And you know, here in Australia, we've seen some non-deathmatch wrestlers go and try their hand at it and be proven to be very good at it, like yourself.
Yeah, it's like watching a car crash. You know, you don't want to look, but you can't look away. It's just adding that element to such an already captivating thing like wrestling. It's, you know, you can understand how it's so popular. Like, it's, you know, it's something else entirely.
But like, do you find going into those sort of styles of matches that you have to mentally prepare yourself like beforehand? Like, you know, like, is there a process that you went to beforehand? Like, what was your thoughts leading up to these matches?
Just accepting that I could, you know, get hit in the head with anything or go through a table, or, you know, just accepting, hey, I might get, you know, seriously messed up in this match. Like, just, you know, if you accept that and go into it with that attitude of, you know, this is dangerous and this is, you know, but I'm accepting the possibilities of this danger, and I'm just going to go out there and do what I do anyway. It's, you know, you don't want to second guess yourself or, you know, hesitate going into anything like that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You hesitate, you go to the hospital.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
and you might end up, even if you don't hesitate, you can still go to the hospital. Like, that's just sort of like these kind of matches.
Well, dude, that's the big thing. And like, it's not funny, but a story that Angel from who does a show here, he was in ECW, and he told me that he was, because he was part of the Baldies, he was supposed to come off the scaffold at the ECW show with New Jack. And he said he went there and he stood up there and goes, no, it's not stable. Like, I'm not going to do it. And he said, go get a plank of wood and I'll do it. And they didn't get it. And he said, no, I'm not doing it. And he goes, because I couldn't get stable. There's no way. And he said, Vic Grimes went, I'll do it. And he was like, you fucking go for it. Went there, did it, but hesitated. And then obviously look at what happened. You know, it's the same. I think in those sort of elements as well, as you said, you've got to go in there accepting of what it is and not second guess yourself.
Yeah, you just do it. Like, it's, you don't get yourself into those situations if you're not prepared for what could happen. It's,
yeah, 100%. I mean, did you, like, the first time you were involved in it, like, did you go, what the fuck am I in for? Or was it like,
I was pretty nervous. I was like, you know, like, first time, you know, with thumbtacks and stuff and light tubes and stuff, I was like, oh man, like, why am I doing this?
What was the bump like? Like, did you take a back bump into the thumbtack?
I think the first time I used light tubes and thumbtacks was in the same match against Jonah Rock, actually. So he powerbombed me into the thumbtacks, which, I mean, it is what you expect, really. It's, you know, it's just taking a powerbomb, but you also get stabbed at the same time. So
yeah, right.
Yeah. And the light tubes, probably not a normal use of the light tubes. Jonah put them on top of me and jumped off a ladder onto me. So that was, I feel like Jonah Rock landing on me off the top of a ladder took away some of the impact that the light tubes might have had anyway.
Jesus. And he's a big boy to have landing on you, man. That's like
yeah.
some dude. I want to go find that match. That sounds insane.
Yeah, that's I'm sure it's on like Wrestle Rampage Vimeo has a big back catalog, so I'm pretty sure it's on there somewhere. It's I think it's Domination was the name of the show.
Yeah, right. That's crazy, man. Like but I suppose like after that first Elements and going through it, like was it like after that match were you like, oh no, I'm not going to do this again, or like was it straight away?
That was awesome. Like such a thrill. Like yeah, it's just adrenaline, like so much more adrenaline than a normal match, and I feel like I just feed off of that so well.
I find like with certain styles of wrestling, like a good wrestler can be a good wrestler in any type of style. Obviously, you're not going to find like, just anyone going from doing like amazing, like a Kurt Angle, then going and doing lucha libre type moves, or Brock Lesnar doing lucha. But you know what I mean?
But
like,
could.
Yeah, they could, but it's like I said, you're not going to see it on a thing. But like I'm saying, a good wrestler could adapt to any style of wrestling, I believe.
Oh, definitely. Like that's where you see people like Brock Lesnar, who went to Japan, who went to WWE, and succeeded because they are just so good. They can just work with any style.
Oh, 100%.
Adapt what they do.
Do you still watch wrestling now? Like, do you still sit down and watch other products of wrestling?
Not as much as I did before I was wrestling.
Yeah.
It's just such a big part of my life that when I go home and sit down, it's sometimes I'm like, oh, I just want to do something that's not wrestling.
Yeah.
But obviously I still watch wrestling. It's still a big part of my life, but yeah.
But like when you sit down and like you are watching wrestling, do you still like can have that fan mentality, or is it like, is wrestling almost like you sit down and you're watching it with a critical eye now?
It's a bit of both, and I like to sit on the fence, on the line there of, I like to just sit there and enjoy it for what it is. But then maybe I'll think back or something will happen and be like, oh yeah, okay, I can see what's going on here, Yeah. But generally when I'm watching it, I try to just enjoy it as a fan. And then, if I feel like there's something that I could learn from it, I might go back and watch it a second time or third time or more. And, see how they take things with it.
What are some of the performers that you really look to learn from and learn certain aspects from?
Personally for Corndog, some of the big inspirations were, the big classic baby faces, Hulk Hogan, John Cena, Stone Cold. Those guys were just, that sort of the original idea of Corndog was just to be that, that big happy baby face that everyone loves. And obviously it's evolved a little bit from there, but that was always the original idea from that. But basically I just love watching a lot of big guys. Vader was always a big one. I'm trying to think now. I mean, Undertaker and Kane have always been big fans for me. Brock Lesnar as well, just speaking of WWE guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as well, being a big guy and looking at those guys that you mentioned are perfect examples. But as far as like, going in and doing, the character itself, you said like being that bigger, larger than life baby face. So I can imagine the entrance for you is quite theatrical.
Yeah. I mean, I put a video actually of my entrance from my last match up on Instagram recently. So I just try to bring as much energy as I can as soon as I step through the curtain. I want people to be engaged what I'm doing as soon as they see me, so they can just when they if they know that that's coming, they know that I'm exciting as soon as they see me. When they hear that music start, they get excited. Like I want people to be excited and happy when I'm coming out.
Yeah, and I mean, how long did it really take you to sort of build that following for the character?
It started off pretty well straight away with just getting people to cheer for me. It just sort of, it fit me so naturally as a person just to be, fun loving and having a good time in the ring. So, I felt like it was really, just natural. Like, people could tell I was having a good time. So it was easy to get along,
like that infectious sort of,
get
involved, enjoy and have fun. And Yeah. And I think that like when you can have that ability to sort of bring that out, like no wonder it's a big baby face feel because like, you know what I mean? Like everyone can sort of
Mm.
relate to it. Like even if, like, as you said, it can be a bit gimmicky and stuff like that. Even like adults can get into that shit because
Yeah,
like we grew up with like the major gimmicky sort of stuff. So like wrestling fans pop for that shit.
yeah, yeah. I'm just a big guy in there having a good time. Like it's and I feel like people can just tell that I'm there having a good time, and it's hard not to join in having that time there.
Exactly, man. But we did touch on the show with DMDU that you are tagging with Lily Blaze. Now, I know you and Lily trained together, but have you guys tagged together before?
No, actually, this will be our first time, the debut for Flavortown in DMDU. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So it's the first time that you guys both tagged. Have you guys had much of a time to interact with your opponents and be in contact of have some idea of what you guys want to put together for this match? Because like I said, everyone is in different states. So I suppose that it's like on show days when it's going to be like the first meeting for you guys.
Yeah. I mean, I've met Bobby Bishop and Lucille Brawl once before, like, a couple of years ago in Queensland. But yeah, otherwise, like, we were in contact with Misspent Youth for our match before. But since the two from Queensland have been added, we haven't really had a chance to talk, talk or do anything for that match. So.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, like, how are you like with the tag match as well? Like with Lily, how do you think your styles together will sort of mesh in this match?
I think it's good where we're both, in far as the characters go, different sort of characters, but same in the way that we just out there to have fun, have a good time. We both bring a lot of fun, exciting energy. Like it's, our styles are very different, but I feel like they can mesh together well. Like it's different, but they could fit well together.
Yeah, perfect. And you've also got a Wrestle Rampage show coming up as well, don't you?
Yeah, so that's the weekend after, which is the 28th, I think. So about 3 weeks.
Yeah, right. And who are you facing for that one?
I'm not sure yet. It hasn't really been announced. So we're still sort of, finding out what's going on with all the COVID regulations here in Adelaide. So, yeah, but should be very exciting. We've got, a big title match, Joey Graham against Rat Daddy. So that's obviously the headliner for that one. But otherwise, we're not too sure. I'm not too sure what I'm doing there. So
just show up and thank them for the booking. So
yeah, whoever's in front of me gets some sauce, and that's about how it goes. So.
There you go, man. But as far as like getting to opportunities once this COVID shit settles down, because like obviously Australia, 90% of us are in lockdown at the moment. But once we are able to get out of lockdown, is going into state and being able to get around some of the other states a high priority for you?
Yeah, that's there's a lot of names in different companies around the country. I'd love to have the opportunity to wrestle.
Yeah, mate. Who would be the top of the list at the moment that you'd want to try and wrestle in the country?
I'm just heading around different states. Guys in Perth like Julian Ward or Damien Slater, who I've they were both on our recent show. Yeah, people that I would love to wrestle. In Melbourne, people like Slex or Caveman Ugg has always been someone I've looked at as a bigger guy as well. I'd love the opportunity to wrestle Ugg. And back to Sydney, like Ricky South and the Velocities. I've known those guys since, early in my career, and I would just always love the opportunity to work with them.
Yeah, great guys too. They're just amazing talents. And I think that all of those matches that you listed, absolutely amazing talents. And I think that, getting in the ring with them would be, for seeing you get in the ring with them and chop it up would definitely be something special to see, man. Definitely. Like, absolutely. But as far as tag team wrestling, is that something that you would like to see pursuing a little bit more now? Like this thing with Lily Blaze, is that something that you'd like to sort of explore more of doing as well?
Maybe I've always been a huge fan of tag team wrestling. As far as a regular tag partner, I've probably had more experience tagging or being around with Rat Daddy more than Lily Blaze. So that's someone together we both wanted the opportunity to go tag together outside of Wrestle Rampage, Rat Daddy and I.
Yeah, because like I can just imagine with Rat Daddy's character and your character, it'd be quite the interesting duo.
Yeah, a little bit of an odd couple, but both a lot of fun. Both there to have a good time.
Have you guys thought of a tag name?
We're the Parmigiana Playboys. That's long time settled, that one.
All right, the Parmigiana Playboy. Oh, yeah.
Bit of cheese and sauce on that one.
Cheese and sauce, mate. That is amazing. But mate, look, coming up to the end of the show, and just wanted to say, like, it's been a great sort of time having you on and just talking a little bit about your career. But before we sort of wrap things up, we are going to play. That's right, the 60 seconds with Piers game. It's nothing weird. It's nothing creepy. How it's going to go is I'm going to fire a bunch of questions at Mr. Corndog. He's going to answer them as quick as he can. He has 60 seconds to answer the motherfuckers. So when you're ready, Corndog, you let me know and we can get this started.
Let's do it. Let's get straight into it.
Favorite song to sing at karaoke?
Yeah, All Star.
Would you rather appear on Home and Away or Neighbours?
Oh, Home and Away. Yeah, definitely.
Name a gross meal combo that you like that no one else does?
Vegemite and hot cross buns.
If you could ask Vince McMahon one question, what would it be?
How old are you? Really?
Aussie rules or rugby?
Aussie rules, yeah.
If you couldn't wrestle, what other career would you do?
Chef.
If you were given $1 million to start a business, what business would it be?
Sauce.
iTunes or Spotify?
Spotify.
What song do you know all the lyrics to?
Kung Fu Fighting.
If you could win an Olympic gold medal in any sport besides wrestling, what would it be?
Basketball.
In 5 minutes, you are being taken away to outer space. You can take 2 personal items with you. Which items could they be, excluding humans?
My dog and coffee.
There you go. That is 60 seconds with Piers. Thank you very much. Corndog, where can everyone find you? Where can everyone follow you? Where can everyone buy some merch of yours?
So for merch, I'm on Wrestler Merch, as most of Australia are at this point. Instagram at Corndog Sauce, Twitter at Corndog WR, and Corndog on Facebook as well.
There you go, guys. And guys, as I said at the beginning of this episode, you can get an exclusive first look at all of our content on the realmnetwork.com. Check it out, the new Vince Russo owned Realm Network. So guys, make sure you head over there, click that subscribe button, and get exclusive first look at all 4 shows that we have for you. Shooting the Shit Uncensored, Killing the Business with ECW Original, The Kingpin, Angel Medina, Get Funked with Kwee-Wee, Alan Funk, and also Knights of the Gimmick Table with the Dead Presidents, Boogaloo and Lowrider. Guys, huge shout outs to our sponsors, the Wrestling Universe, your one-stop shop for all your pro wrestling needs, merchandise-wise. They've got everything you need, from action figures to posters, magazines, you name it. They've got t-shirts, they've got belts, they've got masks. In-store signing. So if you're in Queens, New York, go and check out their branches that they've got there. And they've got some of the biggest names in the wrestling world every single week coming in there for signings. Check out sleeves.com. Use promo code MWA pod to get a 10% discount. Head over to healthvape.com. Use that 10% discount code MWA pod to get 10% off your final purchase. But guys, we're going to catch you very, very soon. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, I'm Piers. This is Corndog. And we'll see you soon, baby. Peace.